Last week's video, I talked about whether or not we actually need flagship phones here in the year of 2025, and how that line between a flagship and mid-range device is getting blurrier and blurrier by the day. If you want to check out that full video, I'll have it linked at the end of this one. But today, I wanted to kind of expand on that idea, because we're at a point where smartphones are insanely powerful, and most of us aren't even gonna come close to maxing out what they can do. But that doesn't stop the marketing machine. Every year, it's the same pitch. New phone, new features, new flex. And most people fall into that trap. I'll be honest, I've done that myself. When people are upgrading these days, most upgrades don't happen because someone's phone is too slow. They happen because it just feels like it's time. And phone companies know this. Thinner bezels, slightly better camera bump, boom, $1,200, gone. I'm not saying don't upgrade, but if you're gonna drop that kind of money, you should at least do it for the right reasons. So let's go over a few of the biggest things you should actually be thinking about before buying a new phone. Number one, how you actually use your phone. Let's start with the obvious. What do you actually use your phone for? Because unless you're editing 4K video, gaming at a competitive level, or doing heavy multitasking, you probably don't need the latest and greatest processor. Most people, they're texting, watching TikToks, taking food pics, streaming Netflix, sending memes, and all that, a $400 phone can handle just fine. When I was using the Nothing Phone 3A, the Galaxy S25 Ultra side by side, there were days I literally forgot which phone I had in my hand. That's how close the experience was for everyday use. So ask yourself, does your current phone already handle everything you need it to do? If so, what are you really upgrading for? Number two, longevity and software support. Now, this one does lean a bit in favor of the flagships, I will say. They usually get longer software support and the hardware holds up better over time. But mid-range phones are catching up quickly. The Nothing Phone 3A, for example, gets 3 years of OS updates and I believe up to 6 years of security patches, which for a device of its price, that's pretty impressive. Now, the majority of us are planning on keeping our devices for, I'd like to say, up to 3 to 5 years, so software support matters. But let's be honest, there's also a lot of people upgrading after only 2 years anyways, even when their phone still runs great. So if longevity is one of those things that matters a lot to you, maybe leaning towards the flagship is your best bet. But here's a thought, instead of buying the newest flagship, consider picking up last year's model at a discount. You get flagship level performance, longevity, and features, but at a much better price. Because like I said, let's be real, the differences between year-to-year models now are getting smaller and smaller. As an example, off the top of my head, the iPhone 14 Pro, still a killer device if you can find it for the right price. Number three, camera needs versus camera wants. Yes, flagship cameras are incredible. No one's denying that, especially me. But are you actually using them to their full potential? Are you printing massive images, filming commercial projects, doing advanced color grading in post? Are you just snapping quick photos of your dog and posting them to Instagram? Today's mid-range phones often have 50 megapixel sensors, solid dynamic range, night modes, and even RAW support. So unless you're zooming in, pixel peeping, or editing professionally, you're probably not gonna notice a huge difference. If you're not creating content regularly or you're in the video and photo space, you're not using 80% of what these flagship cameras can even do. I mean, heck, half the time when I show people how to adjust their exposure on the iPhone, they didn't even know they could do that. So if marketing is getting you with the bigger and better camera, just ask yourself, are you even using those camera features in the first place? But if you're making your own content or just passionate about photo and video and having the best possible tools in your pocket, flagships absolutely are the way to go. And last but not least, ecosystem integration. This is a sneaky one. It's a big reason a lot of people feel stuck with certain brands. If you're deep into the Apple ecosystem, iMessage, iCloud, AirDrop, leaving that can feel like ripping out a part of your workflow. Same thing with Samsung, DeX, SmartThings, Galaxy Watch. When I first switched over to Android, yeah, it threw me off. I lost some efficiency and things just felt off. But not because the phone was worse, it was just different. That learning curve is real, but over time, it settled back down to feeling pretty much the same. Now don't get me wrong, I still think Apple has the most polished ecosystem out there from what I've experienced so far. But I am excited to dive deeper into Samsung's ecosystem too, if and when I can. Everything is coming out of my own pocket, so Samsung, if you're listening, if you'd like to send me some devices, I'm open to that. The real point here is if you're wanting to upgrade to a advice that might make you switch ecosystems, or you're afraid that you're going to lose certain ecosystems if you go from a flagship to like a lower tier phone, most of the time you don't actually need a flagship version of a phone to stay inside that ecosystem. A mid-range iPhone or Galaxy still gives you all the core benefits of whatever ecosystem you've been enjoying. And in terms of switching ecosystems, you just gotta have to weigh what you're giving up and what you're gaining. For example, if you're leaving iPhone to go to Galaxy because you really like Galaxy AI, consider if you use AirDrop like every day, or if you're too integrated into iMessage. Are the benefits of having Galaxy AI outweighing what you're already using within that ecosystem? I could spend a lot of time on this topic, and I'll probably just end up making a separate video on it. But all that to say, when it comes to the ecosystem, whether you're wanting to leave one, switch it up, or stay where you are, make a nice pros and cons list, weigh your options, and go from there. So at the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. If you want the newest flagship and you're actually going to use it to its full potential, absolutely go for it, even if you're not going to use it to your full potential. If you want the latest and greatest, get the latest and greatest. But I wanted to lay out a few things to consider before you drop another $1,200 on a phone you might not even need. If your current phone is still performing well, still feels smooth, and still handles your daily tasks without issue, don't upgrade just because TikTok or YouTube told you it's time. Make smart moves, upgrade when it makes sense, and don't be afraid to try something new. It's usually not as scary as it seems. It might throw off your rhythm for a little bit, but trust me, there are workarounds and substitutes you can make depending on whichever ecosystem you're in. I've been rocking the S25 Ultra coming from an iPhone, and I have been enjoying it quite a bit. Let me know in the comments, guys, what devices you are rocking currently, whether you're considering upgrading something, switching things up, changing ecosystems. I would love to hear what you guys are doing in the comments below. That is it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching, but that is enough watching, enough consuming. Get out there and create something yourself. I'll see you all in the next video.